Hello, you beautiful people. My name is Davi. I'm joined by Abe. We're Redox Cinema. And finally, welcome back to HBO Sundays.
Let's freaking get it, man.
The last show that we did was Succession.
It was.
Oh, and it's so good to finally be watching Sunday night.
I mean, we did Barry, but we weren't doing it actively live.
Actively, yeah. So this is one that we're doing actively week by week.
Yes.
Oh, this is so good. I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped.
I'm hyped for a show to be back on the timeline, on Twitter and all that.
Yeah. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. For our viewers and listeners, we hope you guys are doing well. Just a quick heads up. This episode is also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, specifically the discussion portion of the show. And if you're looking for an uncut reaction, we are on Patreon. Link in the description, you'll find that link to our Patreon. It is $5 a month. You'll have to own your own copy of the show. We'll give you a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and we'll start the show and you'll be able to follow along. And also, if you're new here, you want to subscribe, please, hopefully do. We appreciate our subscribers. We love you guys. Please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell for when we get a new upload, and also like this video, y'all. House of Dragon season 2.
We're back. We're back. The messiness is back.
Yes, let's go.
A disclaimer: we just randomly are wearing green. We're from Boston, so Boston Celtics. It's not Team Green. We're neutrals. Okay, we don't have a horse in this race.
No, yeah, we don't. Right,
we are neutral spectators.
Exactly, we are neutral. We do not have a team.
No.
But I want to know in the comments. Let me know.
Green or Team Black?
Yes.
Also, another thing to say, if you are a House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones world enthusiast and you read all the books and you know everything that's going to happen, love that for you. Please do not spoil that for us or other viewers who are also watching this. Appreciate if you would not leave any comments that contain any sort of spoilers, as a lot of us have not read the books and are watching and learning all this stuff for the first time.
Yes, so please bear with us. I know George R. Martin is a genius, and this world is so dense and amazing. It has, just looking at the family tree of the Targaryens, it's so deep and it connects to this and that, and we literally have a family tree on our phones we're going to be referencing just so we know who's who. We did that for season 1 when we did just podcasts, and it helped us a lot, so we're going to continue to do that just so we know exactly the politics of it all and how it goes.
Indeed.
But man, oh my God, no comments yet. But guys, this is going to be, we're back to, if you're here for Succession, it's going to be the same route. We're going to try to get these episodes as soon as possible.
Indeed.
And if you're wondering where Charlie is, unfortunately, he's not feeling well.
Correct.
He'll be back next week for episode 2.
Correct.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. I am excited. I was trying to cook through watching all of it before, but I couldn't finish rewatching. So I watched up to like episode 7, then we watched the recap video, and I'm good. I'm refreshed. I know where we're at. War has begun, basically.
Yes.
And the dance of the dragon commences. One thing that I will say, even though I said people who have read the book don't, spoil anything, happy for folks to share insights if you read the book. If you have read the book, share things that will help us to gain context if you have deeper knowledge. We just don't want anything to spoil what is going to happen in the show. But welcome any and all House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones fans to comment and contribute whatever. We love all the knowledge and we love all the contributions. So appreciate you.
Yeah, if there's any difference from the book to the show that has already been presented, go ahead, let us know.
Exactly.
We love that stuff.
Exactly.
We do. And yes, like we said, we love reading comments. So next week we'll be reading comments. So please, y'all, comment your thoughts on this episode and overall on the book and the adaptation so far.
Yep.
Wow. All right. We're good. Housekeeping business. Check. Let's freaking go.
Let's start this shit.
Okay.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes.
Happy
To all the Father's Day.
To all the fathers.
Yes. Blessings to y'all.
Blessings to y'all.
Prosperity. Everything for you guys. More. Yes.
Do not promote incest, although this show does.
For this one, it's going to include the season recap. We're just going to start from the beginning and just
roll that.
We're just going to roll it. All right.
Cool.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Rhaenyra Targaryen, heir to the Iron Throne.
Yes.
The king will die, and if Rhaenyra succeeds him, war will follow. The realm will not accept her.
The realm is sexist.
Criston Cole will be named Lord Commander of the King's Guard.
This brother's crazy.
He's down bad
right now. He's down bad.
Well, he kind of hates Rhaenyra now, but
yeah.
but he's still down bad.
He's still crazy.
Lord of the Seven Kingdoms
She'll never bend the knee.
and Protector of the Realm.
Solid game to egg on, bro. He like
Yeah.
thinks this is a cool ass game, just like Joffrey.
A war is like to be fought over this treachery to be
Imagine being born into this.
Brother? I'm good. I'll watch it, but I'm not trying to be involved.
The realm can carry on in peace.
Girl destroys everything she touches.
Prince Jacaerys will fly north to Winterfell. Prince Lucerys will fly south to Storm's End.
Did we see Jacaerys in Winterfell?
Take it, bastard!
Good question.
Can't remember.
No!
Rhaegar is just... Fuck, he's crazy.
Are we starting with the theme or are we going to go right into it?
No, it's going to be a theme. Question to everybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm annoying about this. Are we happy that they brought the original theme back, or would you have preferred an original theme for House of the Dragon? I'm of the latter. I think an original theme would have been cooler. I love this theme. Don't get me wrong, but that's just my feeling. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
I definitely think it's a great theme. I love it. I think it's one of the best in TV we've seen, and new animation as well.
Yeah.
We'll rewatch that, understand what it all means. But I do agree that I think we should have gotten another theme.
Yeah.
But
because if this one was such a banger, what else could they have made? That is my feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe it's the theme of the world.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. And it's still Game of Thrones. It's still
it's the probably just to keep up with the continuity of it all.
Yeah. I get it.
And also, you don't skip the theme. I feel like
Never.
never,
This is the
right?
one-
Never skip the
This is
theme.
the one never skip on a first watch.
Oh, okay.
If you're rewatching, I think it's up to you. Depends how much time you have.
Yeah.
It's a long show anyway. So. And how long is this first episode? An hour and 7.
God, hour and 7. Let's go.
Duty is sacrifice. The North owes a great duty to the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, he did.
One older than any oath.
He almost sounds like Jon Snow.
It's the accent of the North, right?
Yeah.
Through its long tradition, the Night's Watch cultivated its strength from doomed men who had their life as their only possession. But my ancestor, Torrhen Stark, began a tradition by making an offering at the onset of winter. 1 in 10 men from our household was to be chosen to fortify the watch.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So they just choose a random one. Well, I guess that's what happened to Jon, no? Okay, so we're seeing a Stark.
Winter is coming.
Coming? What is this then that falls from the skies and shivers my bones?
This is only a late summer snow, my prince. In winter it will cover all you see, and all memories of warmth will be forgotten.
This is Jacaerys.
The realm will soon tear itself apart if men do not remember the oath sworn to King Viserys and to his rightful heir.
Starks do not forget their oaths, my prince.
Yup.
Indeed.
Whilst your men guard against wildlings and weather, the High Towers plan to usurp the throne. If my mother is to defend her claim to hold the realm united, she needs an army. War is coming. To the whole of the realm, my lord. We cannot wage it without the support of the North.
Yeah, when he sees like how much is out there.
Do you think my ancestors built a 700-foot wall of ice to keep out snow and savages?
What does it keep out? Death.
Do you think we'll see them in this?
I believe so. Is it? I don't know if it's referencing what we saw in Game of Thrones, or if
Like the White Walkers?
yeah, the White Walkers are. Do they return here and then also return?
I don't know.
A raven's arrived. Urgent news from Dragonstone.
Oh, is he gonna find out his brother died? Yikes.
Yep.
Sorry, buddy. You can't hide anymore. You gotta come out. Come fight.
Take your mount again. We're flying out.
And there he is.
Yep.
We're going to King's Landing.
To what end?
Killing Vhagar. I cannot face that hoary old bitch alone. My dragon and yours together, we can kill Vhagar and her rider. Make it a son for a son.
Wow. He's already trying to go blood for blood.
A raven has told Rhaenyra that her son is dead. She needs to know it for certain.
She was a fool to go alone. What if Aemond were to happen upon her?
Then I would pity Aemond.
Oh, wrath of a mother, bro.
If you'd have acted when you had the chance, Aegon's line would be extinguished. And Luke would be alive.
Can't play these scenarios, bro.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Fly with me. It is a command.
Would that you were the king.
Yeah, it's interesting because you see his care for Rhaenyra in some aspects before, but then you see these sorts of interactions and you feel like he's only there for power.
Power, yeah.
And vengeance, I get it. Like he wants to get revenge because he's all about that. But again, he's acting as if he is the king. Corlys.
It's a marvel she was able to return from the Stepstones at all.
7 more ships put out to sea this morning to fortify the blockade. The gullet is vast, and we're not like to have the numbers to cover all that open water.
I must have my ship back at sea to lead the effort.
It'll be many weeks yet.
I had this commission for Prince Lucerys.
I was very sorry to hear about your heir's death.
I wonder if he's gonna return. Here we go.
Dragon! On the Scorpion!
Oh boy.
Scorpion ready! Hold! Stand down, it's Vhagar! Stand down!
It's massive.
He is huge, dude. She, right? Vhagar's a she?
Believe so.
Yeah. All the holes in the wings, too. Like, she been through it.
Where is Jaehaerys?
Attending his lessons.
And those are where?
What do you need of him?
Taking him to the small council. He'll be king one day. He must begin his instruction.
What if he does not want to be king?
Where is he?
The library. You must not interrupt his custom.
I feel like we haven't seen them interact as much.
Don't be. They'd be fools to come with Vhagar protecting the city.
Not the dragons. The rats.
She's saying there's like snitches around, spies.
I don't know. Everyone thinks she's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Every time
what is she referencing? Yeah, you're like, oh, what is the lady saying?
Yeah. Is it Kristen? It has to be.
Yeah.
Yep. His brother was in the craziest love triangle, man. He did a whole monologue about how he sullied his duty before when it was Rhaenyra, and now he's out here going crazy.
We cannot. Again.
Yes, Your Grace.
She calls him back literally the next
Cannot
day.
what, hook up or
Yeah.
like what? Yeah, of course.
It's unbecoming of a queen and the Lord Commander, or the commander of the King's Guard, or whatever the hell. Those the rats she's talking about?
Oh, Otto.
Good morrow, my lords. Mother?
That kid is way too young to be sitting at a small council.
To the Vale and to the north continue to go unanswered. The Stormlands should be ours after Prince Aemon's marriage pact to the Lady Floris Baratheon.
My brother is raising the strength of the West to master the Golden Tooth, but we...
My letters to Rhaenyra. Has there been any answer?
An apology for her dead son?
None, Your Grace. Between that and their blockade of the Gullet, we must presume that the princess has refused the offered terms, and that war is now inevitable.
What could you expect?
In hopes that new terms might be negotiated.
Release it at once.
Just look at his son.
Because I think he wants a ride.
Your Grace.
A ride?
A pony ride.
Oh my god.
Yo.
That'd be fun, Jaehaerys. Should the Master of Coin be your royal steed?
He's being serious.
God.
Your Grace, there are important matters to discuss, despite Sir Tyland's interruptions.
No time for amusements, Tyland.
Sounds a lot like Damon. Their accent.
Yeah,
they do a really good job.
Rhaenyra's blockade has placed King's Landing under strain, and those pressures will multiply quickly.
Well, we should have just killed her when we had the chance.
Regrettably, the opportunity for surprise has been lost, and with it the chance to end this conflict quickly.
He's blaming her.
We do have need for a new master of ships. We could offer the title to the young Lord Dalton Greyjoy.
Aemond,
The Greyjoys.
The king summoned me.
you do not have a seat at this council.
Aemond is my closest blood and our best sword. I welcome him. The River Lords will either declare for me, or they will meet Vhagar and Sunfire together. And we can burn the blockade while we're at it.
Rhaenyra has dragons as well.
Mine are bigger.
If we loose the dragons to war, there'll be no calling them back. We must proceed cautiously.
Fat old Lord Tully will either raise my banner or see his burn. We should fly to River Run.
You are the king, Your Grace. You must not put yourself at risk.
And Vhagar is needed here to deter Rhaenyra from attacking, in retribution for the death of her son.
You've already demonstrated your might, Your Grace. We must now favor patience and restraint.
He's like,
he likes those
I
words.
just want to go to war. Like, let's get it. That's what he wants.
Good morning, Your Grace.
Good morrow, Lord Laris.
Good morning, Lord Freaky Deaky.
Is that the name we're going to give him this season?
Oh, your handmaiden said you were indisposed.
What is it you wish to discuss?
Yo, this man knows everything.
I have completed questioning the whole of the castle staff. They produced rather interesting details, but I am satisfied I have exposed all who betrayed our trust.
And what of them?
They no longer breathe our air.
Yo.
I've chosen your new staff, personally.
See, I would be too afraid of this. Like, I do not want people hand chosen by him to be doing anything in my regard.
He has no remorse, no sympathy, nothing. He's a psychopath.
No, yeah, for sure.
All he cares about is moving up that ladder.
Your Grace? Just leave me.
I'm not gonna lie, I would be the same. Like if there was so many like maidens or whatever around me, like I'm trying to take a bath, like yo, firstly, privacy. Secondly, that's just annoying.
Dragon!
Oh.
But what is there? Just the wing?
Could be Luke. It's Luke.
Or is it just his cloak? Can't tell.
Yeah, it's
see,
just
Rhaenys knew for a fact though. You saw that? Like she called it perfectly. Rhaenys, I'm gonna call this right now, should be the hands of the queen.
Yes. Yeah.
Like she's the one who has sense. If they can set this up right, she should be the hands.
Well, she should have been the queen.
Right, 100%. But now obviously that's not.
Yeah, that's why she's known. The queen that never was.
Aegon the Magnanimous. What the hell?
Hail King Aegon!
The Magnanimous?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I had the same reaction.
Good morrow, Your Grace.
It's all right. There's no reason to be nervous. What's your name?
Gerard, Your Grace.
Good morrow, Gerard. And how might your king be of service?
'Tis my flock. A tenth of them taken by the crown on the cusp of winter. If I'd had the time to plan,
We should
perhaps.
return them.
Your Grace?
You need your goats for the winter, don't you?
Sheep, Your Grace.
Sheep, even better. I shall make your flock of sheep whole.
He made a promise to all the crown lands that a tithing of livestock would be necessary to sustain the dragons for their increased activity and, pray not, eventual fighting.
Perhaps we could just return his sheep. He came all this way.
If you return one herd of sheep, Your Grace, you'll soon find them all at the foot of your throne expecting the same.
They won't know.
He's such a rookie.
Can they offer any compensation?
I have decided that I cannot restore your sheep. If war were to break out, my dragons will require feed. Bring the next.
We rely on ships from Essos for our supply. But now, with a blockade in place and war threatening...
That treasonous blockade won't last long. I plan to send Vhagar to burn it to ash.
Oh my god. What an idiot. Yeah, hey, just tell what the plan is. If that's the plan, it probably even isn't.
The Smiths are all proud to support your grace against Rhaenyra.
But
iron costs have grown. A lone scorpion takes weeks to build. To put it simply, we are struggling. If we could but have the crown's coin before we started work, it would bring great relief. Not just to me, but to all the Smiths serving your cause.
you shall be paid, and paid well. My army cannot win a war without your weapons. You should continue their making.
And here
Our
we go.
victory depends on the efforts of the small folk.
The small folk. That's not patronizing.
Tis the hand's want to keep a firm grip on things. You controlled your father the same way.
Oh.
Viserys had a certain reputation as being pliable.
I am aware.
I would think, as we find ourselves standing within a hair's breadth of war, that you would wish to be viewed differently.
He's trying to make a play for the hand.
Probably. Put it in real plain, simple words for him, but let's see what he says. Imagine being fired as the hand twice. That'd be crazy.
And how would you define victory?
Rhaenyra bending the knee and Aegon sitting the Iron Throne in peace, as Viserys wished.
That ain't happening.
Well, if that's how you describe it, then we are aligned.
Then be my ally.
I am.
An ally would not repeatedly cut my legs from beneath me at that table of men. My sons both see you as the great example. The hand to 3 kings. Aegon is ever eager to prove himself, and Aemond is angry.
Yeah, both of your sons are crazy.
Power hungry. That's Aemond. I mean, all of them.
But if you undermine my voice, both those boys will grow deaf to it.
She's right. Yeah, she's got some crazy boys to control, so.
I hadn't seen it that way.
We only need to mind Aegon until the novelty of rule is spent. Once he tires of it, you and I can steer our cause to victory.
A fine strategy, daughter. But you must accept that the path to victory now is one of violence.
Team Green is not as united as Team Black. I mean, Team Black.
I would argue that there's similar problems on that side.
Okay.
Daemon's just trying to go on the offensive. I will say though, like it's crazy to me that like all 3 of her children with Viserys are kind of crazy. Helena's the most normal, and that's saying something.
Targaryens, man.
And the more and more I observe Aegon, the less I'm comparing him to Joffrey. He has similarities, like Joffrey from Joffrey Baratheon. He has similarities, but I think he has some very key differences. Like Joffrey is not nearly as like accommodating to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe we're going to see that shift more.
Maybe.
You.
When last we met, there were 2 of you.
How long have you been selling secrets to Otto Hightower?
As long as he had gold to pay for them.
Why would you be disappointed in that answer?
She's a common person. She needs money.
Straight up.
You put Aegon on the throne.
That was the Hightower's conspiracy. I merely profited from knowing Aegon's movements.
But you delivered him.
He would have returned home eventually for gold and for respite, as he always does. I simply sped the business along.
Business that ended with the theft of the Queen's throne and the murder of her son.
You only blame me because your true enemies are out of reach. My arrangement with the Hand was purely transactional. I held no loyalty to him. Otto Hightower was to me as I am to your noble ilk, fodder to be cast off.
Got him.
I mean, could she go back and figure out secrets for him?
Well, her network was destroyed, right? But she still has, most likely has connections.
And they don't see her as they see her as a neutral, I'm assuming.
She is to be treated as a traitor to the crown.
Oh, never mind.
Not to Daemon, anyway.
Forgive me, my prince, but the lady speaks the truth. She was no agent of the Hightowers.
What is it to you?
A matter of honor.
Was it honor that made you stand by and watch as the Hightowers usurped the throne?
What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do?
I'm shamed by it. It's why I abandoned the King's Guard and my brother and came here.
I don't care.
I just realized the two of them are opposite sides.
I reckon our names of the King's Guard are just 8 and 10. And we swore the same oath to defend the whole of the royal family. So what were we to do when they turn against one another?
Great question.
Pull a Jaime Lannister? Kill the Mad King?
Do it.
Oh, is she back?
Yeah.
Here we go. Where you go? Or is it just Sarys? Oh, she just came back.
Rhaenyra.
Okay. Oh, she looks... Whew.
I get why people are Team Black. I get it. The aura is just... I'm pretty sure that's why people are choosing them. They just got, like, you know what I mean?
They got swag.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look where they're at right now. Like, that just...
Also, like, I feel like they have less crazy people. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, we'll see this season, right?
Although Daemon makes up for all the crazy in this.
I want Aemond Targaryen.
She wants to kill her half-brother.
She's going to head back to King's Landing.
Yep, on a mission for them.
A transaction, then. Your knowledge in exchange for your freedom.
Whatever works.
Your Grace, Lady Jane Arryn has pledged her support in exchange for a dragon to guard the Vale. Lord Kraken Stark has promised 2,000 men.
Oh, man. He's just a kid, too. That's his little brother.
Valerie Florent.
Is that Joffrey? Yeah. Looks like it. He looks like a strong. Damn. See, like that's what gets me to Team Black, because I'm like, I really feel for them. I don't really have sympathy for Team Green, if I'm being honest. But I'm a neutral. I'm a neutral party. I'm a neutral party.
I wonder how many times we're gonna say this. But I'm a neutral.
but I have no horse in this race.
Sarys Florent.
Maybe I do feel for Alicent a little bit.
She was just part of her father's plan.
Yeah, the whole
her father
time.
just like
threw her in there.
Yeah,
to just fend for herself in a way. I mean, ascended to power really quickly, but I don't think she comprehended what she was getting herself into with all that.
A tribute.
Commander.
Never gone for long. I'm told you bear a mislike for the Hightowers.
The Hightowers.
The White Worm said you're one of Aegon's rat catchers. You must be busy. That castle positively crawls with them now. I was also given to understand that you possess a unique knowledge of the Red Keep.
My ghost tunnels, a big rat's nest it is. I know them better than the shape of my arm cock.
This is my friend. Tonight he's going to be your friend. You're to find and slay the Prince Aemond Targaryen. He has silver hair and one eye. Should be easy enough to find.
Yeah, I think he knows, probably.
It's one half. We'll get the other when it's done.
All right. What if we can't find him?
Otto fears to upset the order of things. Alicent is simply angry. She blames me for starting this war.
So it is your fault. I mean, the way it started was your fault.
She has a gentle heart, and Rhaenyra is a cunning spider.
This brother. Non presta. Oh, man. You're not worth shit.
She holds love for our enemy. That makes her a fool.
Oh.
He is right about that. It's one of her weaknesses for sure.
It would concern me, grandson, if plans were being considered beyond the ears of your king and his hand. You've a zeal to act, I understand. I was young once myself.
I only wish to serve my king and my house.
You and Vhagar, the greatest single power in the realm. But there are many pieces at play here, some of which you can't yet see. I promise you, Aemond, you will have all the vengeance that you seek, but you must keep a grip on your impulses. We both know that your brother cannot.
Otto always scheming.
Yeah. He's always plotting.
Always.
I think he almost kind of recognizes if Aemon was on the throne, it could probably be a little bit different. Although I wouldn't be so sure about that. I feel like Aegon's a little bit more like you could
he can be
more
more
manipulative.
yeah.
Like you can a little bit manipulate him a little more. I think Aemon's a little more.
Could be more of a puppet.
Yeah. Although Aegon's a little bit crazy, obviously.
Bring the dog.
With what hand, bro?
There's a dog.
Dog's supposed to help them find Aemond?
I think it knows the tunnels.
Maybe. I was wondering if they got something to like smell.
It's a king.
Loved or feared? My mother and grandsire mind me like some helpless duckling.
Who gives a shit what they say?
My brother at least knows his place. He's as loyal as a hound. I can set him and his dragon on my foes at will.
See, he's a bit of an idiot.
Yeah. You sure about that?
How are they just walking in here like it's nobody's business? Oh, because of him?
I think so.
Aegon the dragon cock.
Yes. Yeah, the untamable beast.
I mean, it's kind of true. He has bastards everywhere, so...
Do we know how many?
I don't know, bro. I don't even think he knows.
How do we get upstairs?
The royals live up there. Well, it's off limits, it is. Different group of rat catchers work the upstairs.
If we're to kill a royal f***ing prince, where do you think we're going to find him?
I got you in the castle. I thought the rest was your bet.
Oh, they're rat catchers. Got it. I missed that part.
I know my way upstairs. I just don't know my way around. Show me.
Yeah, no. I'm not a fan of this dude.
No, absolutely not.
Don't do that.
You know what that means? He's dead.
Yeah, he's going to die. He's going to die. People don't just kick dogs like that and don't face the consequences.
The royals live on this level.
It's crazy because we see people do crazy shit in this show and we get mad over them kicking a dog.
We need to keep looking.
I told you, I'm not supposed to be up here.
Did you not hear the prince? No head, no gold. Set a trap.
Huh?
For appearances. I'll search the next room.
Smart. There's no way they're going to be able to pull this off.
No.
For the rats.
She doesn't trust it. And he doesn't know how to set the trap, does he? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Stay still.
Oh, they found him? Oh, no.
She's the queen, she is.
A son for a son, he said. Or does she look like a f***ing son to you?
Over there.
Oh, no. Not the kids.
We need to get our head and get out.
Oh, my God.
They both look the same. Which one's a boy?
Maybe that one.
Well, look for a cock.
The mother knows.
Do anything but what I ask. And I'll bleed the whole lot of you.
He left that whole torch just laying on the ground. That thing's not going to, like fire in the whole room.
I have a necklace.
Oh, man.
It's of great value.
She's very, I feel for her. She's, very innocent.
Mm-hmm. They're gone.
It's the other one. She's not going to give up the king's heir that easy.
She's telling true.
Jesus Christ. That's horrific. Yeah, this is worse than the dog.
Oh my God. Oh my
God. We cannot.
What's happened?
They killed the boy.
Oh, so they did kill the heir. Oh, wow.
What a start.
Jesus.
My God.
Oh, my God, dude.
And this is why we are neutral. preview for the next probably preview for the season. Do we want to watch it or not?
I don't know. I think everyone else is gonna watch it now.
Right? Should just do it.
Might as well.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You have wounded me, weakened my claim to the throne. I cannot trust you, Daemon.
Rhaenyra's supporters will believe what they wish. The significance of Viserys' intentions died with him.
There is a war brewing.
Okay, so Alan's gonna play a significant role.
Harrenhal is the key to the Riverlands.
I will not be seen as weak. You're already seen as weak, Aegon.
Beware how you speak to your king.
Ooh.
We must break the will of our enemy.
There will be no mercy!
We have given the war to the dragons.
Oh my.
I almost didn't want to watch that, but I know people are going to watch it, so it feels wrong to not have that context. But I actually think they did a good enough job previewing you without spoiling too much.
Yeah, so we'll see. Usually for Succession, we did the same thing. We watched the trailer.
That's true.
I'm going to say it again. This is why we're neutral for a reason. That ending was...
Leave it to this universe, man, to always leave you on like the most brutal note possible. Like, oh my God, that was awful.
Like, I think what they did so well at showing you how awful that was I love when shows, films do this, make you imagine it.
Yeah, because they give you the sound.
And you're just hearing it, and you're just, like it just feels worse. It feels awful. And... you know, this was from Team Black, and Civil War has begun. You know, it started. But I want to start from the beginning, where we see that Rhaenyra is grieving, and she has Daemon has a conversation with Rhaenys, a very significant conversation. And I'm wondering what stood out to you on that part, and how that conversation led to where we were at the end. Because I think that was a huge catalyst for what occurred at the end of this episode.
Yeah, I think so. A couple things. Firstly, that conversation highlighted to me that regardless of each side, there is disconnect and disjointed views and like a lack of alignment within both sides, right? And you can see the way that Daemon wants to respond to things is super... And we saw this from season 1. Like season 1, when he was fighting in the Stepstones, they were trying to make a plan how to go after the crab feeder, and this man just like dumps himself in the middle.
I'm gonna go ISO ball, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like,
like he literally was like, it's me or nothing.
Yeah,
and like, it is a very stark contrast from Rhaenyra, who was raised watching her dad, be king, and she is a little bit more methodical. And also just the fact that he is not sympathetic to or understand the grieving, right, of the fact that Rhaenyra has just lost her kid. Obviously, it's not Daemon's kid, so he doesn't have that sort of connection. But in the same vein, we have seen Daemon not have the same sort of like, how do I describe it? The same sort of desire to grieve or necessity to grieve as when he lost Laena. And that was really what stood out to me. But also what stood out to me is that Rhaenys is really tapped into like everything that Rhaenyra is feeling. Like, to me, it foreshadows that like she could be her biggest voice of reason and like guidance and strategist in this entire war, because she has seen hurt come throughout her family and pain be brought onto her, and she has been in the position to make rash decisions and has not. So I think that it highlights to me how big of a role she can potentially play in this. But also it showed how rash Daemon can be in his decision making, and like all of this that led to the end. Like, I just keep thinking about, like, did Daemon really think that he was gonna ask some random rat catcher gambling addict to go in there and kill Aemon Targaryen?
No, that's not gonna happen.
How did he think that was gonna happen? And also, like, I'm assuming because we didn't see, he did not consult with Rhaenyra on his strategy or anything like that. So the second that Rhaenyra finds out that this happens, like that's my curiosity is going to be what is her response to the outcome of Aegon's heir being brutally murdered, a literal child.
Yeah, that was brutal. But what you said was, it's. I think we saw that Rhaenys, like you said, definitely foreshadows something there, and how, her title, the queen that never was. I think that will consistently play a significant role into how she moves and works in this universe. And I think we'll see more of that as well. And now we go to King's Landing and we see I think Team Black is also dysfunctional, but we look at the
Team Green
is very dysfunctional with the higher ups, right?
Yeah.
We look at Alicent and on a high tower, the way Aegon is, and it just looks like there is no, from both sides, but we see more that their vision is not as clear compared to Team Black.
I would argue that none of like the big four in terms of Alicent, Otto, Aemond, and Aegon, like those four, it feels like they're all on different pages of what they think is the right thing to do or how they want to act or what their true desire is. And that is problematic, like big time. Because in war and strategy, you need your like closest confidence. Like you're going to have arguments and you're going to have disagreements, but usually you can understand and agree amicably. But in general, it doesn't feel like that's the case here. It feels like everybody is kind of, they kind of want the same goal. They all want them all to be in power, but at the same time, they don't agree on how to go about things in a similar way that I think it's foreshadowing that Daemon and Rhaenyra are, but much more so in this case.
It seems like the respect of titles is kind of diminishing with Team Green and versus I think Team Black, I think is also dysfunctional, but I think they still respect the titles that everyone is in. Like they still announce Rhaenyra as the queen and they accept her decisions, but also you have Daemon who does what he wants to do.
That's the thing for me is like that is the thing that stood out to me. Stark contrast between these two is like you have a lot of crazies in Team Green, right? Like Aegon's crazy, Aemond is a little tapped, Helena is weird in her own way, but like they have this group of dysfunction and craziness. Not so much so on Team Black, but Daemon makes up all of it.
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
Daemon's rashness, his vengeance, his anger, the way that he acts, and he like acts with authority without having the title. And that was one of the things Rhaenys said too. He was like, "I command you," and she was like, "Well, if only you were the king," right? Like in that kind of thing, or if only you were the queen. Like, and I guess he kind of is in a way if he's like married to Rhaenyra, but in the way that Rhaenyra is the one that commands, not him, and he's trying to kind of swerve that
and do his own thing. Yeah, that's true.
So to me, like the dysfunction is clear on both sides, but it's just like, one person, okay, that's a little bit better than 3 or 4, but Daemon is nobody has been able to corral him. No. Not at all. Like I feel like the closest ever he's come is like Laena. Like in the time period that he was Laena, he was relatively tame, but even then, like they couldn't align on what they both wanted to do. Did they want to live in Pentos? Did they want to be in Westeros? Like that, all this stuff, and I think that it's just because Daemon is always a wild card. Like he always has to walk to the beat of his own drum. He always has to, whatever he thinks that's the right move, and he can't really be swayed. That's how I feel about him constantly.
And I think, in parallel to that, is Aemond. I think Aemond is going to develop like Daemon.
I agree.
They're going to be basically Aemond is going to be the Daemon of the
Greens.
Of the Greens.
Yeah, I agree. Everything that Aemond does feel very reminiscent of Daemon. I mean, granted, he's young still, so like he's still
learning, still developing. Yes.
But in a way, like I wonder if we saw that age Daemon, like what he would be like. Would he be similar? And it almost seems like Aemond is still amicable. But the one thing that I'll say for Aemond is he's a little bit more, it feels he's a little bit more strategic and he's a little less defiant in the way where Daemon would just flat out tell you like screw you, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, or he's just gonna do whatever. Aemon plays the politics a little bit more. Like he recognizes like, all right, the hand is telling me, like my grandfather's telling me I gotta chill out. Okay, even though I know this is what I want to do in my mind and I'm gonna figure out a way to do it, I have to let him think that I'm not. Like it feels like Aemon's a little bit smarter in that way, or a little bit more. He's got a better temperament. Like he understands the things that need to be done in order for him to get what he wants.
To get the power that he wants.
Yeah.
So he knows that he has to respect his brother. He knows that he has to bow down to him.
But the fact that his brother is so clueless and is like, my brother's a loyal hound. Like I could just tell him to sick on whatever and he'll do it. I'm like, you clearly have no idea, brother.
He's doing it because he has to.
Yeah, exactly.
And we saw the development of Sir Christian Cole and Alicent's relationship as well. And I think that's going to have a lot of influence going forward as well, and how that goes. Larry's.
Can I just say the hypocrisy is crazy?
Yeah, yes.
Alicent and Kristen is so crazy.
Can someone explain? One thing I don't understand is the religion aspect of Alicent and what she follows. Do you know?
I'm assuming she follows the 7 gods.
The 7 gods, right? Yeah, she follows the 7 gods. It's just I don't really know. I'm not really.
I don't. Somebody who maybe is an expert in the books and understands like the full religion. Why are you questioning because of the candles that she was?
The candles, like I just want to know more about that and what that represents.
Yeah. Felt like she was honoring the dead.
She's honoring the dead. Yeah, obviously it was that, but
yeah,
because what she stands for and her relationship with Sir Christian Cole, I think, goes against her morals and what she follows.
Yeah. It's so funny because I was rewatching the first season and you just see her kind of throw all the shade towards Rhaenyra for basically being a whore, blah, blah, blah. And Kristen Cole basically saying like, I've sullied my honor and I cannot. And then brother's doing the same thing. Like
he just flipped it.
Switch and he's just doing it with Alicent.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hilarious to see. But it's like, to me, I see them both as like kind of bitter people. Like life did not pan out for them the way that they originally thought. And that's how I see them. I don't know if you feel this way, but I don't feel like there's like a love connection with Kristen and Alicent. Doesn't really feel that way. It feels a little bit more lustful. It feels a little bit more.
It's just it feels more of the flesh, right? They just want to get a feeling. They're just trying to just
And he was also really down bad for Rhaenyra, like in the first season. So it almost feels like a revenge thing a little bit, as if Rhaenyra cares at this point. Like I really don't think she does. But yeah, it's just
you would say you don't think there's no love in that. It's just purely just to fulfill a need.
Yeah, at this point, that's what it feels like. I don't know. I truly don't know. I think it's too early to tell. But at this point, that's what it feels like to me.
Okay. And then Larys, the he's already working.
Lord Freaky Deaky.
Yeah, Lord Freaky Deaky. Lord Freaky Deaky is out here doing his thing already. Yeah. He already switched out the maids for Alicent, and she really got freaked out by it. So we saw the scene where she was like, "Get out! I want to be here alone." And we're getting more insights on the rat catchers and what they and how they operate in the castle. But man, I just think this was a really good start in setting up what this season is going to entail.
Yeah.
And I had this question coming up in my head when I was coming over here, wondering, I don't think it's off topic, but do you consider this House of the Dragon cinematic? Like it gives you that feeling, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, it was similar to what Game of Thrones did. And even like HBO shows do this. You know what I mean? Like the great HBO shows do this. Succession felt very similar. Like, I mean, obviously it has different elements in the way that they make film, but in the way that they filmmaking in terms of cinematography and things like that. But it feels cinematic in the sense that like you are building this story and there feels like acts happening, and it's less than like a regular TV show. Obviously, and it's not a very eloquent way to put it, but yes, it definitely feels like cinematic and like you're watching, I don't know, not a trilogy, but like whatever a trilogy would be for seasons and seasons of TV.
Just a quick dive off, but just wondering, what would you predict? I know, because we just started this season, so we were just getting fled information, and it's I don't think we can take a deep dive in what's going on, but it's more about just seeing how this will unfold. And I think we all know that this is, you know, a story about the fall of House Targaryen and how this civil war occurred. But I'm just wondering, what do you see? I don't know. What entails for you in these next coming episodes? What do you want to see out of this show for season 2 compared from season 1?
It's fine. I mean, the thing that I'll say in comparison, right? Season 1 was a complete deviation and change from what we saw in the original Game of Thrones, because we had to do so much setup and so much time jumping to set the scene of what was going to happen in the conflict that it didn't feel like you could build the characters. You felt like you didn't spend enough time building the characters in certain situations, like because they were setting up the story in the right way. And I think that they did a good job with season 1 because of what they had to do in the following seasons, plural. This isn't the only season, right? It's not just season 2.
No, they already renewed for season 3.
They already renewed for season 3. So my thing is, I want to see that. Like, I want to see like dives into like characters in their day-to-day and understanding how they're developing as this conflict unfolds, how their relationships with each other develop, because we saw that in Game of Thrones very, very well. You were able to see characters grow, characters change, and I thought that was incredibly well done. It's something that I felt like I missed in season 1, but again, it's not a fault of the show. So that's the thing that I'm kind of excited about. In terms of the plot, there are, you know, I want to see how the kids pan out. Like that's where my focus is anyway. Like I want to see Aegon and Aemon versus Jacaerys. Like I want to see how that goes. I want to see Rhaenyra and Daemon's relationship. Like, are they able to come together to an understanding, like plan of attack that makes sense? Or are they going to be, you know, kind of at odds still? I think it's probably the latter, just because Daemon is Daemon, but we will see. From what we can tell from the quick preview that we got, it's going to be a lot having to do with the Riverlands, which is interesting. I don't feel like we spent time there in Game of Thrones, but this is like key in terms of the Riverlands being, I think, like central to the story, which is going to be interesting. And then it's going to be also interesting continuing to see like what sides come to each, you know, ally which side. I mean, we already see the Starks are allying with Black. If you remember in the small council meeting, they were talking and they were saying like, we need a new master of ships. And then they mentioned whoever Greyjoy. And they're like, oh, the Greyjoys are out there. Like, you know, that's going to be cool for us to see as Game of Thrones fans, like, oh, what families allied in this conflict to what side. But then I want to see the internal conflicts of Team Green. Like that to me is where the meat of some of the conflict lies, like internally, because we're going to see how Aegon reacts, right? Like one thing that I think is really interesting, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is, you know, we kind of in the beginning, we compared a little bit Aegon to Joffrey as we were going in the show, Joffrey Baratheon, as we were going in the show. I started to feel a little bit differently about that, just because of the way that he acts, the way that he's a little bit more malleable. People can influence him in a certain way. And another thing that really got me was just like, I don't know, the way that he was like treating his kid a little bit. Like you can tell
he cares about his
kid. Like he did. Like
maybe it's only the one who is the heir. Because,
maybe it was a little bit for
But we know in Game of Thrones they play favorites to the heir.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not saying that like, oh my God, Aegon's this perfect dad. Like, no, not at all what I'm saying. But I'm saying like, you could see in this episode how much care he had. And we saw the preview. He freaks out. He freaks out when he discovers what happens. So I am curious to see how that reflects in his decision making and how that reflects in this conflict. Like, is he going to err more towards the side of like, screw it, I'm doing what I want, which is what the what the preview showed us. We did see clips of him flying on a dragon. So to me, that feels like he's going on the offensive, which is, you know, the opposite of what he was consulted to do. So I don't know. I'm worried that he is going to, you know, get too vengeful and be on the offensive and the attacking probably way more than he should be. And it doesn't seem like, you know, the folks in there who are the voice of reason can help that.
Yeah, I think Otto Hightower plays a big role into that. Because remember that conversation you had with Larry's telling him is like, yo, Otto Hightower was your dad's hand. Kind of already telling him like, yo, you need a different perspective because this guy has been here for three kings.
Yep.
So
you wanna bring in a new age. You wanna be known for something different. Like,
so
no, that's a really good point, because what that makes me feel like is like, is that going to be, you know, is Aegon going to say, I want to go on the offensive, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and Otto's going to say no, and is that going to push him to say, okay, you're not my hand anymore? Which, by the way, man, you get fired from being the hand twice. That's not good on your record. Like, your resume, I don't know if you're going to get hired for a third time as the hand. But anyway, like, I think that point that you bring up is good, because it feels like it's an opportunity for Larys to snake his way in.
Yeah, because you know he does not care. I mean, he killed his father and his brother. Right? He killed his father and his brother to just, you know, get more to go up in power, you know, to move up the ladder.
He does not care.
He does not care. So what I want to see I think what this show and what Game of Thrones has done so well, what George R.R. Martin does, is the symbolisms of power and the need to gain control and how that infects so many people, and people just wanting to just have control of something.
It's like a disease.
It's a disease, right? I want to see. That's what I want to see. Yeah. I want to see the spread of this disease, and because this is the reason why the house falls, right?
Yeah.
So I want to see that develop and how that erupts.
Yeah. Hey, it reminds you in a weird way, a completely different show and universe. It reminds you of Succession. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the desire to be the guy or the person that is in power. You know, some people have that potential. Some people are kind of on the outskirts of it, but they all kind of act in ways that serve themselves. And this is no different than that.
No.
I think that this is exactly what you're saying. There's this disease of power, and we can see who gets consumed by it and doesn't make sound decisions because of it.
Yeah, but that, you know, it's the world, man. It seems like, could there ever be unity in Westeros? Is that even a thing?
I mean, we have seen
we have
peace.
seen it. We have seen
in
it.
Viserys' reign there was peace.
Yeah, in old Valyria, right?
Yeah, old Valyria there was. Also, I guess, but yeah, I mean, Game of Thrones wouldn't be interesting.
No, it wouldn't.
If it was
I
just
think
peace.
Exactly. I think it's, and that's I think this show is so great. The story is so great because it really shows you the disease of everyone, of wanting to just,
and humanity, right?
Right.
Like in I mean, this could be a fantasy world, but this is what humanity is. People want money, power. They desire to control, and that is what breeds evil. And whether or not you see yourself as evil, which, you know, is kind of the debate in this show, you know, two very different sides, you know, connected by family, but both think they're right, and both are kind of very wrong in the same way.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting. And it is interesting to me. I'll ask you this question. You know, in Game of Thrones, it felt like they were characters that you should root for. Not even just could, but like they almost blatantly told you, like, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. And it feels a lot more ambiguous in House of the Dragon.
It seems like here they're giving you the choice. They're going like,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, they give you reasons to hate
both sides
and to empathize with both sides.
I think that's what makes the show really good.
Really, really good. Really, really good. Because and again, that's why it kind of reminds me of Succession. Because Succession, there was never a character that you were like, this is the good guy. Like, they all had their issues and their flaws and things that you were like, oh man, I really don't like this about this character. And I love it. It's cinema to me. To me, I love flawed characters in general. So to me, it just makes it more interesting. I'd love to hear people's perspective on that.
Yeah, it lays down how, you know, I know this is fantasy, but it's just like you said, like humans, man. We're not perfect.
No,
we're not perfect at all. And what I really appreciate is them doing that and showing you, bro, we're showing you the ugly side and also the good side of both.
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, this what they all want is power, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to get power.
Yeah. I felt like specifically in this episode, I was much more empathizing with Team Black, especially with Rhaenyra and her son.
At the end,
what
do they do?
Right at the end, they take the most, maybe of all of the families, like Helena's maybe the most innocent of all of the characters, and like have her watch the brutal murdering of her child. And in the end, she's like, they killed the boy in like the most innocent, like just like kid way. And it was heartbreaking. Like,
while she walks in on
her mom, on her mom and
Christian Cole, right?
Yeah,
losing a son, but also making a son.
Yeah, crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It is crazy.
Drink a special tea after that.
Yeah, she's gonna have to. But I think that also shows the contrast and the parallels of that. It's like you literally just lost your son, and you walk.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good decision to do. I specifically in this world, narratively, in this world.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
because there's no boundary you can't cross in this universe.
Yeah.
So like showing that level of like, you know, sex and death, almost like the two ends of the spectrum of life, was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
to see.
It was.
So well done.
Yeah, well done. And what I really loved was the conversation that Mysaria, right? Is that how you say your name?
The White Worm.
The White Worm.
Yeah.
The White Worm with Daemon. And she kind of shows her perspective. It's like, bro, I am common people.
Mm-hmm.
You do not understand what I go through versus you.
Yeah.
You have no glimpse of the reality that we face versus you, who's, you know, fighting for royalty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something I really liked Game of Thrones in this world, is showing you the contrast between someone who is at a lower class versus someone who is, you know, of royalty.
Yeah, you know what it kind of reminds me of is blanking on the name of the guy. Is it Bronn of Blackwater? Who was Jaime's like right hand guy, who was like the hired sellsword knight. He was the guy who was basically, he was like a sellsword. Like he fought for money, and his motivation was just up until how much money like he could make, and that was it. Because I mean, obviously he was he was a fighter, and he wasn't like poor, but like that's how he made his thing. His loyalties lied wherever he could make his bread. Like wherever he could make ends meet is where his loyalties lied. It's kind of the same thing for the White Worm. Like she doesn't have allegiances or loyalties to Team Green or Team Black. Like she makes ends meet, and that's what she does, because we live in this world that you royals created, and I just have to find a way to make ends meet. So it kind of reminds me of that character. And I love that about this show, is because you can see similarities in the characters, and not only because it's not because the writing is like, oh, let's make this character like this character. It's just because the world breeds these types of
culture.
People. Exactly. Exactly that. So I think that's it. I love her character, and I think those sorts of characters are needed in this world to kind of ground you and realize, like, outside of this power struggle, there are regular people or people that are lower class trying to make ends meet, and their loyalties aren't the same as yours.
Yeah, it kind of gives them tells them, hey, sometimes you got to touch grass, you know.
Yeah. 100%.
But with that being said, y'all, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. We'll be back for more HBO Sundays, House of Dragon, y'all. Stay beautiful, and see you soon, y'all.
Peace.